Hey, welcome into one of the first sweltering days of the year here in West Virginia. Tony Talking Trash, and today we're going to go to volume 2 here of the ECM series. I'm going to put a focus on a record that was recently reissued by ECM that was one of the hard ones to find. You know what I did? I mean, just to tell you guys in general, what I did was I did a master sweep through everything that was available to see what I had, what I didn't have. Surprising, there were so many records. And, I noted that a great many of them were really up high. I told you before the Maupin record was a really indesirable one, and it was a desirable guess from the jazz community as well. Uh, the harder jazz, the Hancock coming from the Hancock era. But Afric Pepperbird represents something kind of interesting. This is a record that was recorded back in September 1970. So you're really in the golden era of a lot of good stuff happened. That's when Miles was with Chick and Keith Jarrett and Electric Band and DeJohnette and all. And Jack, wandered over to ECM, as you know. I just listened today, just a minute ago, to album, one of his old albums from that. And I noticed on that, how his writing is so different from as him as a leader and as a piano player. Is everything's very structured, very ensemble. Like there's not a lot of recklessness to it. Let's talk about Afric Pepperbird. What is Afric Pepperbird? Well, Afric Pepperbird is absolutely one of the first records, on ECM-1007. It was the original Jan Garbarek first quartet record. Harold Anderson's playing the Harold Anderson is the bass player. He has his own records, a bunch of good ones on ECM. John Christensen, the fantastic percussion player, and Terje Rypdal. This is the first recording thing that I've heard on ECM, or numerically it's the first thing of Terje Rypdal. And boy, what a surprise in this record. And what I wanted to do for this, I wanted to contrast two records, because there's a review that I saw that kind of disturbed me a little bit about this record. They said that this was before that he had fallen into what's known as the ECM. I don't know. He made it sound like it was some kind of a limitation, or made it sound like it was some kind of the rough edges were off. Yeah, there's a lot of sonic sound to it, but as far as I'm understanding it, I don't think that Manfred ever got in a situation where he was talking to the artist. Well, I got the reissue, and I think the reissue is fantastic, and I didn't put it up earlier. I probably should have. You're talking about this record is completely different. You got Terje Rypdal on much of this record, and I will tell you what, you're going to hear way more squonking on this record than you would ever hear on any of the ones, any of the of the Garbarek stuff that came later. And I really wanted to contrast this record with this record. If you're talking about falling into the ECM placid kind of, I don't know, you want to call it new age? I don't think it's that way at all. It never was. This is probably as close a direction or a nod towards maybe some of the more quieter Windham Hill things, some of the things that happen with it. But the playing on these records is always so much better. This is a vast contrast to this. This is an out-and-out jazz record in the spirit of 1970. Lots of squonking, lots of moving hard, lots of the bass stuff. He actually plays clarinet on this, whereas on this record is very pastoral. This is later. This is how much later is this? This record, he says, in 1970. This record, 1038, was put out in 1974. And it is so pastoral and almost all flute. There's very little saxophone on this because he played for the music. The same way in this way, Terje Rypdal. You've never heard him play like that. He is so dirty and scratchy and percussion-y on this record. A whole lot. If you see his picking there, even the picture they have like that, a lot of stuff, it sounds like it was done like that, real close to where the fingering was, scratching and scrawling. And I think the unsung hero of this record is John Christensen. John Christensen just flows here. Now, Anderson wrote 3 real short pieces. For some reason, they're all under 2 minutes. One of them sounds just kind of like an outtake. But Mahjong, probably the one on the first side, probably being Mahjong, the best one. But Beast of Komodo, the Komodo dragon, I guess he's talking about Scarabee on the first side. The crisis, man. I mean, this is like they have scratch, ants in their pants here, man. I mean, this stuff is moving. It's moving fast. That's kind of what I liked about Ohm. Ohm was a band that was on the Yapo record label with this. And we can talk about Kiri Cuckoo later. It's one of my favorite ones with Christy Dorn and Freddie Studer and that bunch. But there's something about the playing on this. Only at the end do you hear, towards the very end of the second side here, do you hear on the Afric Pepperbird the side, out comes the Terje that we know. We start to hear the good guitar. We start to hear the electric. But before that, it's really scratchy and percussion-y. I think this record is superb. I think everybody should have this. I don't, I paid a lot because I paid at the CD seller a year ago when this came out on the Luminescence thing. The same thing I was talking about with the Annette Peacock record. But this is one that was out before, but it was just very, really rare and couldn't find it. Produced, of course, by Manfred for Editions of Contemporary Music 1007. Check this out. And also check this out. This is completely different. And I think this is beautiful. And I like the blurry picture because it fits the production style of what they're trying to do. It's two of them here. Don't think because I'm saying it's pastoral, it's not deep and it's not good. This is an excellent record. This is a record you'll see for pretty cheap. You can probably find this cheap, this Red Lanta record. I think Art Land, very underrated piano player, really fantastic with this. Just the duets the whole way. But and you hear some noise somewhere in it where Garbarek's trying to get a little funky. But for the most part, really laid back, a lot of flute, a lot of beautiful stuff. Gorgeous record here. Highly recommended. 8 out of 10. Highly recommended. 9 out of 10. This is a very good record, and it ends. It just, the flow of it is perfect. It's a perfect record. The way it hit at the time, and you can even look at the way Garbarek's like looking kind of off the side. It sounds like they're getting it together. But what a band to have this as your quartet: Rypdal, Anderson, Christensen, and yourself. Great band, fantastic record. Highly recommended, guys. Come check it out. This is your ECM report number 2. This is edition number 2 here, and we will check you guys next time with something new. Please leave your comments if you heard about this. This is drastic and stylistic, I think, both for Terje and for Jan, and I think it's great. I think this is. I've got a ton of Garbarek records. I love him. And this is one kind of coming from a different camp, kind of seeing what he came from, and it's wonderful. And the whole evolution of the ECM thing, and this whole crap about fitting into the ECM sound. Come on, man. I mean, he fell to the sound he wanted to. Aisher just gave the money and the space for it. That's what he always said, and I've found nothing to doubt that at all. Why would he have any word as to any direction as to what it's going to sound like? He's going to sign who he's going to sign, but this is a freaking jazz record, and this is a jazz record where they're down in the dirt scratching and scraping. This is not some laid-back, placid thing. Whereas this is more placid, but it's a duo record. Much like the great ones of Burton and Korea and things. This is a great record for what it is. This is a classic record. This should be put in the same breath as some of the Miles stuff from the period. I really think it's that good. Anyway, check you guys later. We'll see you next time on the next episode of this ECM thing. This is Afric Pepperbird, and this is great. Catch you later, man. Thanks.